What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another Dudes Who Bet Daily, August 17th, 2022. I am joined by the clan of Haltermans here. We got Papa Dude. We got Aaron Halterman. Papa Dude, welcome back to the show. It's been a minute.
Hey, thank you. You've got me now for the rest of the time.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you won't be able to get rid of me too many days now because I've got drivers that over with, vacations over with, although my wife and I have decided we're going to travel a little bit more. So I may take a little sporadic vacation every once in a while, but not a long one like we just got back from.
Well, take it from your son and I. Do not stay with other people if you're staying anywhere for a month. We both learned the lesson.
Well,
get your own spot, make it happen.
Absolutely. This is where age comes in. I already know that. So,
Aaron, how you doing, man? Welcome home.
Thank you. I'm doing very well. I feel nice and refreshed. Had a nice sleep back home. Got the office back set up. I feel great, and it is great advice, Papa Dude. Remember that. Yes, very much so.
That's what we're here for, to give out that great traveling advice. Now we're here to bet sports. That's what we do. It's horses too. So we're gonna have a nice little show today. We're gonna talk a little bit about Saratoga, but before we do that, and the best bets, obviously, that's ending the show right now, up 14.7 units for the show's history. It's about 6 weeks, not too bad. Let's talk a little about NFL. We're into preseason week number 2. We're only 2 weeks away from the regular season here. One of the trends that you consistently see in the NFL is teams missing the playoffs one year, coming back and making it the next year. So we're going to go over 3 teams that we think have a good shot at making the playoffs here. Little quick round robin style. Aaron Halterman, you want to kick us off? Who is your team that missed the playoffs last year that you're taking this year?
Well, I'm going to go the Indianapolis Colts. If you remember, they were very good last year. They were one of the better teams last year, deserving to make the playoffs, choked it away late. But I think the big key for the Colts, they've got all those guys are back. That defense is back, and they've got a quarterback finally, right? Like, Matt Ryan, I know maybe he's a little bit washed up. Maybe he's not the greatest in the world, but he's got to be better than what they've had. And I think that's all they're really missing. I think he will be good enough for them to get to the playoffs. So for me, I think it's the Colts. I thought they finished the season really, really strongly last year. And I think this is the year that they make the playoffs.
I like the Colts pick here. I think that's a solid one. Obviously, you got Jonathan Taylor in the backfield who's going to just run wild on the offensive side. And Matt Ryan has a good chance to bounce back. Much better offensive line in Indianapolis. They really struggled on the offensive line side down in Atlanta. Papa Dude, what do you think of the Colts this year?
Oh, I like them a lot. And here's the other factor. Look at the division that they're in. They've got Houston, Jacksonville, and Tennessee, which is pretty darn good. But can't they split with Tennessee? And I think Tennessee may go down just a notch. So I like Indianapolis a lot. They should have made it last year. Remember, they lost, I believe, in Jacksonville.
Yes.
Last Sunday of the year, or they would have been in. So I think that's a solid pick.
Yeah, anytime you're getting rid of Carson Wentz, team's going to go on an uptick. So that's definitely a positive there. Papa Dude, head out to the toughest division in football here, going to the AFC West. Who do you like?
Yeah, that is a factor for sure. I love the Chargers personnel. I hate their coach. That's the problem. I don't know about this guy. If he would just learn to kick a field goal every once in a while. I like a gambling coach. I do. Some of that stuff I think is really cool. He does, but my gosh, sometimes you got to kick a field goal. It's 4th down on the 7-yard line. You go for it. You got to kick a field goal. So I am worried about the division that they're in because they're in, I think, probably the toughest division. If Russell Wilson still has it, Denver's suddenly going to be a factor. I almost kind of took them, but I'm not sure he's got a lot left. He's definitely going to be better than what Denver's had. Vegas, you don't know about them. I think they're pretty good. And, of course, the Chiefs. So that's the problem. They're in a very tough division. They've got to win 3 or 4 games out of that division. That's not going to be easy. But I tell you, I love the quarterback and the skilled people. They are good, and they should have made the playoffs last year. No doubt about it.
Yeah, they're an interesting team because you've got a coach that went out for it more on 4th down than any other team in the NFL. And through the first 8 weeks, they were plus 72 points expected based on 4th down conversions. It was all Herbert that was bailing them out of these long 4th and 7, 4th and 6, and they're making great plays. And obviously, you got to give Herbert credit there. So you got to go back to him there. But man, it's tough to plus 72 points when 6 points decides an NFL game is a 10 win expected over what they would have. It's crazy in that small subset. So we'll see what they do on fourth down if they're able to get it back. I do like the fact that you're getting plus money right now on the Chargers to make the playoffs, which I think is interesting. I believe they're plus 110 last I looked. So I'd like the fact that you're getting a little bit of plus money there. I'm going to head to the AFC as well. I'm going to go with the Baltimore Ravens. And this one's pretty simple to me. Look, Cleveland, you have the suspension of Deshaun Watson. Currently 6 games. It looks like it's going to be longer once Goodell gets done with it. I don't love any other team in this division. I think that you have an opportunity to see the Ravens take control of it. They had a ton of injuries last year. Before the season started, they were already on their 4th-string running back. Their defense got beat up. I think you're going to see an absolute turnaround here. You get plus 160 or 175 right now to win the division right in there, depending on what book you hit at. I like that number. I think they're going to get a great shot at winning the division. And look, the AFC, well, yes, it's very, very tough out west. It's a little bit softer in this spot. I don't like the Steelers here. I think this is just a great spot for Baltimore to get back at it and kind of get back to their winning ways.
What do you think of the Bengals? What do you think they're going to do? Because they came out of nowhere like late in the season, and I think that's the key to your kind of prediction here. Or sorry, I'm guessing you're thinking the Bengals aren't going to be quite as good this year.
Well, it's interesting. You say the Bengals aren't going to be quite as good last year. Let's just hit the pause button and let's replay the end of their season. We all remember them in the Super Bowl. They played great against the Rams. They had a very improbable comeback against Kansas City in the AFC title game. They were down 2 touchdowns to Kansas City facing a 4th and 17 in the regular season in week 15, which if they don't convert, they don't make the playoffs. They don't win that division, and we're not talking about them at all. Their odds are triple what they currently would be. Do you know the only 3 games last year in the NFL playoffs that were won by the team with less yards per play were all by the Cincinnati Bengals against the Raiders, the Titans, and the Chiefs? They got outplayed in all 3 of those games. The Raiders had 2 chances inside the 20 on 2 separate drives to beat them with a touchdown in the wild card game. The Tennessee Titans dominated that game, but Ryan Tannehill played like me at quarterback, or else they would not have made it to the Chiefs game. People forget that those 3 things could have happened, and you have a completely different odds for the Cincinnati Bengals. I don't like Zach Taylor as a coach. Look, Burrow is amazing, phenomenal, great weapons on the outside. But this team wasn't that good, and they just kind of kept winning somehow. And I'll go back to the stats that say that they shouldn't have won any of those at playoff games, and that Burrow bailed them out. And I don't think he can do it as much as he did last year, or at least I'm willing to take another team in that division to say, prove it to me and do it again.
The Chiefs definitely handed them the game for sure. And you're right. Yeah, the Raiders game, the Raiders had all kinds of chances to win that game last year. And couldn't. That one was at Cincinnati. I'm with you. I was just wondering your thoughts on Cincinnati. Papa Dude, you know what? I love Los Angeles, the Chargers as well. I kind of think the sneaky team in here is Denver. You think about Denver and how bad they've been at quarterback, and they've been competitive, right? Not good, but competitive. If he is decent, they should be good. I think they'll be sneaky in that division.
Well, if he's still got something left, that's just it. You know, he's played a lot of football, taken a lot of hits. I'm not positive on him. I loved the one you went with, Matt Ryan. I think this is similar to what Stafford, Rams, you know, you can kind of compare that. Back to the Bengals, when you look at their schedule too, it's, you know, it's a difficult schedule. And Aaron and I think, I don't really know exactly what we're going to do on our next show. I think we're getting to the NFL, aren't we? Aaron? We're going to do over-unders, and we always look at the schedule with the NFL. That means so much. And Baltimore got a break on the schedule because didn't they finish next to last in that division? I think.
Correct.
Yep. And that's a damn good football team that finished next to last. They lost some very difficult games. Think of all the close games they lost. So I really like Mike's pick a lot. I think the Bengals will be okay, but I don't know if they're going to duplicate what they did last year. That may be a once-in-a-lifetime year. Anytime you got a quarterback like Burrow, though, you can't count them out. But I think of the 3 teams we got picked, mine's the most tenuous one because of the division that they play on. And you know, I just came on and Mike threw this out at me. I didn't really have a lot of time to think about it. But at the same time, I like the Chargers. I like them a lot. They got to get over this fact. They got to win games they're supposed to win.
Yeah.
And that's the difference between the great franchises and the ones that aren't. And Mike said something about Pittsburgh, and I agree. When you look at Pittsburgh, how the hell are they going to beat anybody? But they're the Steelers. and they figure out a way sometimes. But I don't see how this year. I can't see it. Can you, Mike? I just can't see it.
I can't either, man. I don't see how they're going to be able to improve. Look, Najee Harris, they can't give him the same workload. They have to scale it back a little bit. Do you know that they paid their linebackers have the highest pay for linebackers in the NFL right now of any team, and that's the least valuable position on the defensive side of the ball. You want edge rushers, you want cornerbacks, safeties. They're paying linebackers over there, and they're terrible from sideline to sideline, even with the ones that they've paid. So I don't think that defense is going to be as good. They've led the NFL in sacks the last 2 years, so you got to think they'll get after the quarterback. But after that, it's trouble. And Mika Fitzpatrick is going to try and hold it down in the back end, but if he can only do so much, that offensive line still terrible. Trubisky under pressure, awful. So that's not exactly what you're looking for on the offensive side of the ball. So I think Pittsburgh's going to struggle. And this year, they've had a winning record 19 straight years. They would tie the Patriots for second longest streak of a winning record with 20 years in a row this year if they're able to do it. I don't think they're going to be able to get it done. I think they're going to fall short there at 19. Yeah. So that quick little NFL preview there. Again, that was teams that missed the playoffs last year that we think can make it. One of the reasons this happens every year, as Papa Dude mentioned, the third and fourth place schedules are awfully juicy. You get some good teams that have bad years that can rebound really quick. All three of these teams playing third or fourth place schedules will all help them make a difference and kind of make a run there. Before we get into the best bets of the day, let's talk really quick about the one Saratoga feature that we do have. It's the 9th race. It's a New York Stallion Series, $150,000 stakes race, going a mile on the turf. And we've got our old favorite friend here, Dakota Gold, is your 3-5 favorite, Aaron. Tell me how Dakota Gold could possibly lose this race.
I don't know how he lost last time. I still can't explain it. Magic made me do the preview for this race on the YouTube page. Like, I don't even want to do this because I don't want to look at that last race. I don't know, Somich. Maybe I'm dumb. I'm going with him again, but because I don't see anybody. Even the horse that beat him isn't back here in this race today. So I don't know. I'm sure he'll find a way to lose, but he really should not lose this race.
Yeah, your second choice in here is Marinara Sauced for Chad Brown, the 5-horse, who absolutely got waxed by Dakota Gold last time that they faced each other by 4 lengths. And it was not close. Like, it was 4 lengths could have been a mile and it wouldn't have mattered because he was never getting by him if they ran around that track 10 times. So Dakota Gold should win. There's a couple horses that are kind of interesting in here in my mind. Born Dancer, I actually stabled up after the debut, broke out of the 10 post in a 12-horse maiden special weight at Belmont. Ends up running 5th in there. I'm shocked we're coming back in a stakes race, but it shows you Michelle Nevin kind of likes this horse a little bit. Papa Dude, did you look at all at this race? And if so, any interest?
I did, and I tried to find somebody to beat him, and I just couldn't find us. I looked at the 5-1, the 2-8-1s. They suck. I just don't. On paper they do, but it is horse racing, so you never know. But yeah, I don't see it. He's got to win this race. Has to.
Well, like Somich, you brought up a horse you're interested in, finished 5th in a maiden. You kind of grazed over that point. And it's just that's the problem. That's the problem. Dennis says in the chat, it's like the field is so rotten. It is terrible.
This is correct. Yeah.
Because, listen, when you follow this like we do day in and day out, and you see a horse like Dakota Gold injured, you're like, okay, this is one. He always takes money and we can beat him. And you look at the field and you start getting disappointed. It's just like, well, what are you going to do?
I stabled up a horse out of Dakota Gold's race 2 back, One Time Willard, who for some reason ran in the freaking Haskell. Yeah. Why isn't he in this race? I would love to bet that horse here at like 15-1, and I get every bit of that price, but we're running on dirt against the best 3-year-olds in America. Yeah. What are we doing? Get back in here. Get in the Stallion Stakes. This is not that good of a division.
I don't know. That's a very, very, very good question. I don't have the answer for you.
All right, now we're going to head to the best bets because I have one good question here as well. Last week, we actually did pretty well. Outside of the Yankees and the Cardinals, who lost us 5U total, we only lost 1U. We're up 4U for the rest of it. So obviously, none of us are going to go back to either of those teams for our best bets.
Well,
right, Papa Dude?
Oh boy. Well, see, I wasn't on last week, so I didn't realize all this crap. But I looked at 4 games today, and if I had any guts, which I don't. And the reason why I didn't take this one is I never bet a shitty team. But I like Pittsburgh tonight. I like Pittsburgh over Boston tonight. And that's one I almost went with. But I just can't pick the Pirates. I just can't do it. I think the Houston game with White Sox, you're getting 145, minus 145 with Houston. I think they win that. But I didn't like – that's too easy. Well, it's not easy. I almost went under 8. On the Dodgers and Brewers. tonight, but I got to looking at the stats of the two pitchers, and they give up some runs, and they haven't been pitching real well. So I chickened out on that one. So I'm going with the Yankees tonight because of several reasons. Number one, Corey Kluber is who they're going up against. He's pitching terrible right now. He's 2-5 on the road. He's given up 22 runs in the last 28 2/3 innings. Tampa's won 4 in a row. It's time for them to lose. Then you look at the Yankees. My God, they've lost 15 out of 17. Can't hit the damn ball.
No.
They can't hit. Now, suddenly they're getting shut out every other day. They're due to win. They're throwing out somebody, Domingo German tonight, 1-2, but he's been pitching very, very well in his last 3 starts. He got beat 1-0 to the Cardinals. I don't know that he was even the loser in that, but he pitched great in that series. They've lost 3 in a row. He's only given up 4 runs in his last 16 innings. I think they're going to win with a pitcher that we wouldn't think would win tonight. They're due to win. That's why I went with them.
Yeah, Garrett Cole couldn't get him out of this funk. I think that he gave up 1 run. They got shut out that night. I mean, the bats have been the problem, and you would not expect that from the Yankees. They're one of those teams that you think you're going to get run after run. You mentioned the under in the Dodgers game. I actually almost went there as well. I couldn't find a Saratoga bet that I really like, so I ended up on baseball as well. The Dodgers was one I looked at. I also thought that it was a little interesting getting some plus money on the Braves at home. I realize Scherzer's on the mound for the Mets, but Orduzzi has not been bad at all, and the Braves have been phenomenal at home. You're getting them at plus 140. So I thought about going Atlanta as well. I kind of took a page out of Papa Dude's book, though. I agree with you on the Astros. I decided to just parlay him up with someone here, and I went with the Cleveland Guardians here. Got the 2 Guardians and the Astros on the money line. You get plus 151 when you combine those 2 up. The Astros have our favorite Fambar Valdez. We've used him, 3 or 4 times on this show. He's come through for us each time here. Papa Dude, I know you played him a couple of times as well. He's got a 7-2 record with a 2.21 ERA on the road, facing a White Sox team that I'm not really afraid of. So I think Houston gets the job done pretty easily there. And then you flip over to the Cleveland Guardians. Look, Cal Contrell, 9-5, 3.6 ERA on the season, but 6-0 at home with a 3.16 ERA. And at this point, Detroit is basically fielding a double-A team. So I'm going to have some faith that Cleveland gets the win today, team up with the Astros, and take the plus 151 number on those 2 teams.
Oh, boy. You guys in your baseball. I tell you what. Listen, Papa Dude, Yankees, I said it. Hey, they're due all week last week, and they were due for nothing. They blew a save, and then they got shut out the 2 times I picked them. So,
all right. Well, Aaron, you're headed to Saratoga. You got a little best bet, and this is actually the first time in history of the show, it's only 6 weeks old, that the same horse has been the best bet twice now. This was my best bet last time out and won. And now, Aaron, you're heading to Saratoga race 2. Tell us a little about Trouble.
Well, I asked you about this because I thought you might try to take him again here today, and I didn't want to take it from you because he was yours the last time this horse was picked on the show. But okay, so Greeley and Ben was entered in this race. Everybody was terrified of what might happen to Greeley and Ben today. If you missed that, David Jacobson is back in training. Yes, that's right. David Jacobson is back somehow, and his first entry. Nice cut, by the way, Somich. His first entry was a horse that they paid $80,000 for recently at an auction, and he dropped in for 16. Not only that, it's Greeley and Ben, a stakes winner of multiple times, won a ton of races in a row for Broberg, a horse Papa Dude knows all about. All of a sudden, he's running for $16,000. So I was terrified. Anyway, he scratched. He was a vet scratch. Big shock. Anyway, I was on the number 2 Trouble from the beginning because I thought, gosh, Greeley and Ben has got to be, for lack of a better word, and I hate to use this word when it comes to horse racing, but he's got to be crippled, right? Like, he's got to have some major issues. So I was going to go against him. Well, he scratched. Anyway, long story short, Trouble looks for 2 in a row, running first off the claim for a solid trainer. Ricardo Santana jumps aboard. No bad signs there. It looks like the pace is pretty light in here. I think Trouble is going to do exactly what he did when you picked him, Mike, last time out 31 days ago on July 17th. Get to the front and beat a field that he's just a little bit better than. He took a big drop in class that day and was able to get the job done. Same kind of race. It was 14 last time, 16 this time. It's the same thing. I think he's going to run maybe even better for the new trainer. I think he gets it done gate to wire fashion. So number 2, Trouble for me.
Yeah, I mean, this is one you matched your claims the last time out, 21% off the claim. So you got to like that number. I agree with you. This field is not a field full of world beaters. What price do you think you actually get on this horse? Obviously, you mentioned Greeley and Bend. And by the way, there are two types of droppers, right? There's the major drop that scares the crap out of you. And then there's the major drop to get into the winner's circle. This was the scares the crap out of you type drop. It's a horse that at 1-2, you're scared to bet. You almost want to leave off everything, but you feel really dumb when they cross the line first. It's a tough one, but you should be fading these horses in the long run, right, Aaron?
Yeah, absolutely. And I was going to fade for sure. And to add a layer to that, when it's a horse like Greeley and Ben, you're just afraid he's not going to get around there.
Yeah,
and
something's wrong.
This race had me. Yeah, I didn't want to watch this race. I was terrified when I saw the entries. So I thank God he scratched the price. Obviously, he's not going to be 5-1. And the quick return's a pretty good horse for a decent, connections. Got Siaz, so I think he will take a little bit of money. I think No Trouble is in the 7-5, 8-5 type of range. What do you think, Somich?
I would agree with you. I think that the 2, 3, and 4 are all going to take some money here, right? I think all three of them have the 5 and the 6 just almost shouldn't be in the race, but the 2, 3, and the 4 all should take some money. The 5 should set. It should matter from a pace perspective, but after that, it shouldn't be very relevant. I had the 2 on top before the scratch. I have the 2 on top after the scratch. So I agree with you here with No Trouble. I think if you get 7 or 8-5, you're happy. I think you could see as low as even money though.
Yeah, I do too. I definitely do too. And like I said, new trainer, new owner, but I think the connections are a little bit better when it comes to the claiming game. So yeah, we'll see.
Real quick, let's run through some comments here before we had to get to the picks and sign off. 2022, the year of the fish. My team, baby. I know that more than one of us thought about playing the Dolphins here, so we don't disagree that the Dolphins are a good team that could come back here. Aaron, I'll give this one to you. What odds do you think Dakota Gold will end up at? Currently 4-5 in the UK.
Based on this field, he's got to be 2-5, right?
1-2 is a high number in my mind. So if you can lock in 4-5 from any type of fixed odds market, I would go ahead and get that now if you like Dakota Gold, because I don't think that you're going to see anywhere near that when it actually goes off. And then Kevin really quick chimes in. Bengals should improve based on the rookies and the offensive line improving. I agree the offensive line should be better. I'm still scared that at any point Burrow could get destroyed behind that offensive line, though, because they're not wonderful. What do you think, Papa Dude?
Yeah, I would agree with you. And the added schedule, they did get all the breaks last year. Now, they took advantage of them. You got to give them credit for that. And I just think Baltimore's kind of, like you said, it's kind of a sleeper. I don't like Cleveland, though, and I sure don't like Pittsburgh. So it'll be between the Bengals and Baltimore and who can win those games.
If you want to, you can get plus money on both of them to win the division right now. So you can have both of them as a winning proposition. If you take both, I think Baltimore's plus 165 and the Bengals are plus 190, somewhere right in there. So you can make money if either wins the division, which I think is
win the division.
Yeah, which I think is awfully interesting because I don't see how Cleveland's the other threat, right? They're taking some money, but with Deshaun Watson and their first 4 games are wildly weak from a schedule perspective. When you dive into it, you'll see that. But man, you still got to think it's going to be tough for them to rebound and win the division.
Yeah. What games does he miss? Does he
right
get
now 6?
When he wins?
Yeah, right now 6, but the Goodell is trying to extend it out to 12 or for the full season.
So it would be the first 6.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. And real quick, if you haven't watched the Magic Mike show, we had a long argument about what a sandwich is. A hamburger is a sandwich, folks. I'm sorry. If a patty melt is a sandwich and a pulled pork sandwich is a sandwich, that is the meat of a hamburger and the buns of a hamburger. A hamburger has to be a sandwich. There's really no way to debate this. All right. We're going to head to the picks for the day. I'm not going to let Aaron respond to that because I can tell he wants to. You got to come on the Magic Mike show.
I'm thinking on that one too. We got to do this one tomorrow.
Okay, we will lead the show tomorrow with what is or is not a sandwich. All right, the picks for today. Aaron going to Saratoga, race 2, number 2. Trouble trying to be a 2-time winner here for Dudes Who Bet Daily. 5-1 on the morning line, but you're probably going to get closer to 8-5, 7-5 there. Papa Dude trying to catch a falling knife with the Yankees at minus 130. We'll see if he's able to do it. I'm going to take the Guardians and the Astros money line parlay plus 151. Hopefully we can kick it off well, up 14.7 units on the year. Thank you very much for joining us, everybody. And Dr. Tang, stick to curing cancer.